Emma Stone has officially signed on for Cruella 2, and the sequel aims to connect the dots between the first movie and its iconic source material. Here's the scoop on Cruella 2, including why the dogs are safe this time around in Disney's live-action flick. Let's jump into the details. Set in the late 1970s, Cruella explores how a young orphan named Estella transforms into the iconic fashionista and criminal mastermind Cruella de Vil. Traumatized by a childhood experience with Dalmatians, Estella's journey to becoming Cruella is detailed in a story that leaves room for a sequel. Though updates have been scarce, Emma Stone recently shared some news about Cruella 2. In an interview, she hinted at the sequel's progress, expressing hope that filming will begin sooner rather than later. Stone emphasized that the sequel is still a work in progress, but conveyed her enthusiasm for the character, saying, "She's a blast, she's the best." Stone's excitement suggests she's eager to return to the role. Though quite some time has passed, Cruella 2 was officially confirmed back in 2021, right after the release of the first movie. Thanks to the box office and critical success of Cruella, a sequel seemed like an obvious next step. However, Disney has been slow in developing the project, even after the pandemic's impact lessened and no major moves have been made yet. Cruella details how the orphaned Estella transformed herself into Cruella de Vil and supplanted Baroness von Hellman as an iconic fashion designer. Now that her character is established, the villain story is just getting started. Cruella 2 can show her taking over the fashion world while continuing her life as a notorious criminal. The sequel could either remake or reboot 101 Dalmatians from Cruella's perspective, or build on the elements introduced in the first film, telling an original story about Cruella and her accomplices that further explains her hatred for Dalmatians. Emma Stone and Emma Thompson have also suggested an intriguing idea. Cruella 2 could take a cue from The Godfather Part 2 by serving as a combined prequel or sequel, bouncing back and forth between the Baroness's origin story and Cruella's new adventures. Cruella reimagines the titular character as more of an anti-hero. The movie reveals how Estella Miller, raised by her adoptive mother Catherine, uses her brilliance as a fashion designer to run grifts on the streets of London after Catherine is pushed to her death off a cliff by the Baroness's Dalmatians. When Estella learns that the Baroness ordered the dogs to kill her mother, she starts her career of abducting dogs as part of her plans for revenge against the Baroness. This version of Cruella retains the animated character's haughty spirit but isn't needlessly cruel. Apart from a casual mention that Dalmatians would make fabulous coats, Cruella never seriously considers killing the dogs and only ever makes a faux fur Dalmatian coat. This significant change helps to position her as an anti-hero. With this new take on Cruella, Cruella 2 has the potential to explore her character further while maintaining the complexity and intrigue that made the first film so compelling. That being said, why doesn't Cruella kill puppies in the live-action version? Well, Disney likely refrained from portraying Cruella as a puppy killer because her origin story in Cruella reinvented her as an anti-hero rather than a significant villain. In 101 Dalmatians, Cruella's motivation for wanting to purchase Perdita and Pongo's Dalmatian puppies was purely selfish. She saw them as fashionable commodities to exploit rather than innocent creatures. In Cruella, Disney subtly plays with the audience's expectations of Cruella being the ultimate villain by not having her commit such a heinous act. While the character retains her trademark traits, the film presents her negative qualities in a more sympathetic light. Cruella's fashion prowess isn't a result of unearned wealth, but rather of her own talent and hard work. Her bossy and slightly wicked personality is depicted as something inherited from her biological mother, the Baroness, beyond her control. Even when Cruella takes drastic actions against the Baroness, it's motivated by her desire to avenge her adoptive mother's death. By not having Cruella cross the line into puppy killing, Disney maintains the character's anti-hero status while nodding to the audience's familiarity with Cruella's darker tendencies. In Cruella, the portrayal of dogs diverges significantly from Disney's animated classic, giving them a more intricate role within the story. Unlike in the original, where the Dalmatian puppies were depicted as helpless victims fleeing from Cruella, the dogs in Cruella are portrayed with agency akin to human characters capable of both good and bad actions. Two key dogs, Buddy and Wink, play essential roles in Estella's crew, actively participating in their schemes. The three aggressive Dalmatians owned by the Baroness indirectly caused Catherine's death by following their mistress's commands, while Cruella contemplates using them for her revenge by turning them into a coat for her fashion show. Her decision to spare them instead showcases a surprising act of forgiveness, revealing her ability to transcend her darker impulses. Ironically, this compassionate act sets in motion a significant change. In a mid-credit scene, Cruella arranges for two puppies of Genghis, one of the Baroness's Dalmatians, to be given to Roger and Anita. Naming them Perdita and Pongo, Cruella inadvertently introduces the iconic protagonists from 101 Dalmatians into her own standalone universe. Given Cruella's reinvention as an anti-hero, it's unlikely that the events of 101 Dalmatians will unfold in Cruella 2. The poetic irony lies in the fact that it's Cruella's compassionate choice that ultimately creates the pathway for Perdita and Pongo's existence within her narrative universe. That said, it's highly unlikely that Cruella will be depicted killing dogs in the sequel. Details about the upcoming movie have been sparse since its confirmation in 2021, and Emma Stone herself referred to it as a work in progress as recently as January 2024. With no finalized script or casting announcements, it's premature to predict the sequel storyline. Given that Cruella in the first movie gifted the very dogs whose puppies she would traditionally target in the animated version of 101 Dalmatians, it seems implausible that she would choose to harm them in any way. The sequel is expected to follow in the footsteps of movies like Maleficent, offering a new interpretation of a familiar story rather than adhering strictly to the events of the animated classic. While Cruella 2 definitely needs to evolve its villain closer to what viewers know from 101 Dalmatians, it can't mirror the original film too closely. Portraying a storyline where a character kills puppies for fur in a live-action Disney movie wouldn't sit well with audiences, especially since it's primarily aimed at children. Conversely, having the puppies escape from Cruella would just repeat what's already been done in 101 Dalmatians. This presents a challenge for Cruella 2, striking the right balance to fully depict Cruella's transformation, while also offering an original and appealing story to viewers. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. What are your thoughts on Cruella's evolution from villain to anti-hero in the live-action adaptations? Do you think the upcoming sequel Cruella 2 will strike the right balance between honoring the original character while offering something new and compelling? Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below.